You do not have to chase what is already yours. Stop begging reality to shift. It will never move until you move, not with your body, but with your mind. Your reality is not built on effort. It is built on assumption. The question is not, how will I get it? The question is, do I know that it's already mine? Because when you know something is yours, you stop waiting, you stop hoping, you start being, and in being, the world bends. Your desire is not foolish. It is not a mistake. It is not too big for you. It is the whisper of the unseen letting you know what is already stored for you. The moment you desired it, it existed. The only distance between you and its manifestation is the story you tell yourself. The universe does not delay, it simply reflects. So if you believe you must struggle, delay will show up. If you believe it takes years, years will appear. If you believe it's already yours, you will be surprised by how fast it arrives. The key is not in striving, it is in assuming. You must assume it now. You must walk in that new identity. Don't wait for the money to feel wealthy. Don't wait for the relationship to feel loved. Don't wait for the recognition to feel confident. Feel it now, and the universe has no choice but to mirror it back. But this is not arrogance. It is alignment. You were not placed here to beg. You are placed here to declare. Speak as the one who has it, move as the one who holds it, live as the one who receives it. Let the world catch up to the truth you now embody. It's time to act as if the universe delivers everything you desire, because it does. When you act as if it's already yours, the unseen hand of life rushes in to make it so. So be still, know it is done, and act like it's already yours. Whatever you assume to be true is faithfully reflected in your external world. Life does not respond to your hopes. It does not obey your wishes. It does not cater to your desperate cries or even your hard work if your inner assumption is still lack. Life, in its mystery and brilliance, is a mirror, one that reflects not the surface of your effort, but the depth of your belief. It is not about what you say you want. It is about what you assume to be already true. You may wish to be wealthy, but if you assume that money is hard to come by, that you are always just scraping by, then life will mirror that belief. You may long for love, but if you assume that people always leave, that you are hard to love, then your relationships will bend to that silent expectation. The outer world does not act independently of your inner world. They are not two, they are one. The power lies not in forcing life to change, but in assuming that it already has. When you accept a new truth within, when you assume the role of the one who already possesses what they desire, something profound begins to unfold. You no longer operate from desire, you operate from fulfillment. And from that fulfillment, life takes shape. Assumption is not pretending, it is not wishful thinking, it is claiming a new identity with complete confidence that it is already done. When you assume, you shift. You align your feelings, thoughts, and actions with the state you desire to experience. And in that alignment, the world begins to transform, not because you fought for it, but because you believed it first. Look around you. Everything you see is a result of past assumptions. The people in your life, the circumstances you face, the amount of peace or chaos you encounter, they all correspond to what you have long accepted as true. If you say, nothing ever works out for me, and assume that life is against you, then it must reflect that. But the moment you assume differently, the mirror shifts. That is the divine law. This is why changing your life begins with changing your assumption. Not your effort, not your conditions, but your inner truth. Assume you are loved, assume you are chosen, assume you are healthy, free, successful, and hold to it even when the outer world contradicts it, because it must for a time. There is always a short delay while the outer world adjusts to your new inner stance. But hold firm, persist in the assumption you do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are, and what you are is defined by what you assume. If you walk around believing the world is kind to you, that things work in your favor, that you are guided and protected, then life cannot help but echo that belief. That is the power you carry. But most people go the other way. They see a condition, accept it, and assume it must always be so. They allow the outer world to determine their inner state, never realizing that they hold the lever of change within their own mind. The key is to reverse this, to use the inner world as the origin and let the outer world catch up. So what do you assume about yourself, about others, about the world? That is the silent prayer you offer every day. It is the vibration you carry. And the universe, being flawless in its fidelity, responds with perfect accuracy. It is not partial, it is not biased, it simply mirrors. Your desires are not random. They are not mere impulses of the flesh or fleeting fantasies of a restless mind. They are sacred signals, inner whispers from the deeper part of you, the part connected to the infinite, the unseen source of all creation. Every true desire, the kind that returns again and again, regardless of time or circumstance, is a message. It is divine instruction. It is the infinite within you showing you what you are meant to experience, express, or become. Desire is not to be feared, dismissed, or ignored. To suppress your desires is to silence the very voice that is trying to guide you. It is to turn away from the direction your soul longs to take. The world may have taught you to question your desires, to label them as selfish, unrealistic, or dangerous. But the truth is this: the real danger lies in denying them. When you turn your back on desire, you turn your back on the very life you were born to live. The desire within you is not random, because it is not placed there by the world. It is placed there by the essence of life itself. It is the seed of fulfillment. No two people have the exact same desires, because no two souls carry the same mission, the same light, the same story. What calls to your heart, what stirs your spirit, is meant for you. It is your map. It is how the infinite guides you without force, through feeling. You may think you chose your desires, but in truth they chose you. They are invitations. Invitations to rise into a higher state of being, to become the person who lives in alignment with that vision. That is why desire is not just about getting something, it is about becoming someone. The moment you honor the desire, you begin to expand. You stretch beyond your current self and open to the possibility of who you truly are. But if you dismiss your desire as impossible, if you view it through the lens of logic or fear, you cut off that divine current. You resist your own expansion. That is why so many feel stuck, not because life has stopped moving, but because they have stopped listening. They ignore the gentle call of their heart in favor of the loud opinions of the world. And when you follow it, even when you don't know how it will unfold, something sacred happens. Doors open. Opportunities arise. People, resources, and ideas begin to move into place. Not because you force them to, but because you align with the current of your true path. That alignment is magnetic. It draws to you everything you need to fulfill the vision you hold. Do not confuse shallow wants with deep desires. The former are fleeting and come from comparison or ego. But true desire, the kind that lives in your bones, the kind that stirs emotion when you imagine it, that is spiritual, it is pure, It is eternal. It does not fade with time, because it is time calling you forward. To honor your desire is to honor the divine within you. It is to say, I trust the voice that speaks softly yet clearly. I will follow it even when I do not see the full path ahead. And when you do, when you walk in faith with that desire in your heart, you find that life meets you there. It supports you, not because you demanded it, but because you dared to believe in what was placed inside of you for a reason. Never be ashamed of what you long for. That longing is sacred. To deny your desire is to deny the voice of God within you. But to embrace it is to begin the journey of becoming who you are always meant to be. You are not here to wait for the world to hand you your future. You are not a beggar standing at the gate of life, hoping for a crumb of possibility. You are the creator. And the sacred tool of your creation is imagination. It is not a childish game or a meaningless escape. It is the secret door, the doorway through which all things are born. Every invention, every masterpiece, every transformation in the world first appeared in the unseen realm of imagination. That is where the real work begins. Most people look at the world as if it has power over them. They observe, they react, and they believe they must adjust to what already is. But creation does not work that way. The outer world is the echo. The inner world is the cause. When you imagine, you do not fantasize, you form. You begin to mold substance from the invisible. You call into being that which has not yet appeared. You are not escaping reality, you are creating the next one. Imagination is divine. It is not bound by time, circumstance, or history. It doesn't care where you are or what has happened to you. The moment you step into imagination, you step into your true power. You step into the position of the one who decides. It is in imagination that you begin to embody a new state. You see yourself as already healed, already chosen, already abundant. And when you do this, you shift your identity. And once your identity shifts, the world must catch up. That is the key most miss. You do not receive what you desire simply because you want it. You receive it because you become the one who already has it. And imagination is how you rehearse that becoming. It is how you enter the scene before the curtain rises. It is how you train your mind, your body, and your emotions to dwell in a new truth. When you imagine, do it vividly. See the world through your new self's eyes. Feel the joy, the peace, the confidence. Feel what it's like to live in the answered prayer. Let it become so natural, so familiar, that when it finally appears in the world around you, it feels ordinary, because you've already lived it 1,000 times within. Do not wait for a sign. Imagination is the sign. It is the first evidence of things unseen. It is the first movement of creation. And it is always available to you. No one can take it from you. No condition can limit it. You may be in a small room, but in your imagination, you can travel anywhere, speak with anyone, create anything. That is power. And the one who learns to live there, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, becomes unstoppable. You must understand, the world you see is not fixed. It is not final. It bends to your inner conviction. And that conviction is built in imagination. If you keep replaying your fears, your lack, your disappointments, then you are imagining failure, and life will mirror that. But if you dare to imagine beauty, success, harmony, if you live there, then the world will be shaped in that image. Imagination is the seed, reality is the harvest. What are you planting? You are not meant to wait. You are meant to create. And every time you close your eyes and imagine with intention, you are stepping through the secret door. A door that leads not to escape, but to embodiment. not to fantasy, but to fulfillment. Use it, honor it, live by it, because once you know who you are in imagination, the world has no choice but to rise to meet that vision. Feeling is the secret. It is the spark that ignites the invisible into the visible. You may speak affirmations all day, you may picture beautiful things in your mind, but unless you feel them to be real, unless you enter into the state of the wish fulfilled, you have not moved. For it is not thought alone that creates, it is thought felt, thought saturated with emotion, that manifests into form. Your outer world does not respond to your words, it responds to your inner atmosphere. That atmosphere is shaped by feeling. What are you dwelling in emotionally? What is the dominant tone of your inner life? That tone is the blueprint. That vibration becomes the mold through which your life is cast. If you live in worry, life will give you more to worry about. If you dwell in lack, life reflects that lack. But if you live in the feeling of abundance, if you walk as though it is already yours, life has no choice but to mirror that conviction. To feel is to accept. To feel something is real is to embody it. And the moment you feel it genuinely, deeply, it begins to move toward you, or rather, you move into alignment with it. This is not magic, it is law. The law of life responds to your inner state, not your outer actions. So many chase the world hoping to make something happen, while ignoring the only place true creation occurs: within. The key is this: you must feel now as you would feel then. The future you seek is not in the future, it exists now, in your imagination. And your job is to enter its feeling. Ask yourself, if it were already done, how would I feel? Then dwell there, breathe there, sleep in that state, speak from that place. Walk through life carrying that inner certainty, and you will find that life rearranges itself to match your inner world. There is no power in pretending without feeling. Going through the motions will not suffice. Life does not respond to appearances, it responds to essence. And essence is carried in emotion. When you enter a room, people can sense who you are, not because of your clothes or your words, but because of the vibration you bring. The universe operates the same way. It is not fooled by surface. It listens to the frequency you are tuned to. This is why imagination must always be coupled with emotion. When you visualize, do not merely see, feel. Imagine the joy of having it, the peace of knowing it is done, the confidence of already being that version of yourself. Let your entire body respond, let your breath change, let your heart open. Then you are no longer imagining as if. You are living it inwardly. And that inner life draws the outer form like iron to a magnet. There is no effort in this, only willingness. Willingness to feel, to believe, to surrender to the truth of your inner world. You don't force emotion, you allow it. You lean into it. You sit quietly and invite it in. This is why stillness matters. In stillness, you can listen, you can feel, you can shift. Feeling is not weakness. It is the most powerful tool you have. It is not something to control or suppress. It is the language of creation. To master your life, master your inner atmosphere. Tend to it like a sacred fire. Let it burn with the warmth of fulfilled dreams, not the cold ash of doubt. When the moment you feel it to be real, you give it life. And once it has life within, it must find expression without. So ask yourself again and again, how would I feel if I already had it? Then go there and stay there. Because what you feel now becomes what you live next. Doubt is not harmless. It is not passive. Doubt is the thief of your manifestation. It stands at the doorway of your desire and shuts the gate each time you begin to walk through. Every time you entertain disbelief, every time you say to yourself, "What if it doesn't happen?" you are choosing to delay that which is already yours in the unseen. You are telling the universe, "I am not yet ready to receive." And the universe, in perfect obedience, echoes back your hesitation. The truth is simple. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe, what you accept as true. And belief is not just a passing thought. It is a persistent acceptance, a steady, unwavering assumption. Doubt interrupts that flow. It pulls you out of alignment. And though your desire may still be alive within you, your disbelief puts it on pause. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up each day to check if it's growing. You water it, you nourish it, and you trust the process. But many treat their desires differently. They imagine for a few moments, then pull back and question it. Is it working? Is it coming? What if nothing happens? In that moment, they dig up the seed, they disturb the soil of faith with the claws of fear, and the process begins again. This is why consistency is everything. Not effort, consistency. A quiet, settled knowing that what you have imagined, what you have felt, what you have accepted inwardly is already taking form. Even if you do not yet see it, even if there is no sign, especially then, for the invisible is always formed before the visible. And your work is to hold to the vision, not occasionally, but constantly. Doubt is a form of forgetting. It is forgetting who you are and how creation works. It is falling back into the illusion that you are separate from your desire, that you must earn it, chase it, or prove yourself worthy of it. But you were never meant to strive. You were meant to assume, to know, to live in the end, and let life follow. You must treat your assumption like truth, as sure as the sun rises, as certain as the tide returns. Not because of blind optimism, but because you understand the law. Life mirrors what you persistently hold as real. And nothing delays creation more than a divided mind. One day you believe, the next day you question. 1 hour you feel it, the next you fear it slipping away. That fluctuation sends a mixed signal, and confusion cannot manifest clarity. Faith is not loud, it is quiet, steady, sure. It does not beg for evidence, it becomes the evidence. And when doubt arises, as it will, you must meet it with remembrance. This is already mine. I do not chase, I choose. I do not beg, I believe. Speak to your inner world the way a master speaks to the wind, with confidence, not desperation. Doubt only has power if you feed it. Stop rehearsing your fears. Stop retelling the story of delay, of disappointment, of things not working out. That story is not sacred. That story is not your truth. The more you repeat it, the more you give life to the very thing you wish to avoid. If you would only stand still within the feeling of certainty, even for a short time, you would see just how quickly life responds. But most people cannot stand still. They move with their fear, not with their faith. They chase when they should rest. They worry when they should assume. And so their desire remains on hold, not denied, just delayed. So choose today to stop doubting, to stop hesitating, to stop questioning the process every time you cannot see the outcome. What you have accepted in your imagination is already real. It is simply seeking the path to emerge. Hold the state. Feel the end. Refuse to let doubt speak louder than truth. Because the moment you stop doubting, the delay dissolves. and the door that was always open is finally walked through. You must begin to act, not in pretense, but in truth, as the one who already has. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. For your world is not waiting to grant you your desire. It is waiting for you to embody the version of yourself who lives in the end. The one who no longer asks when or how, but simply is. That self, that version of you already exists. And your only task is to step into it. Creation is finished. What you desire is already present in the invisible. And the way you bring it into form is not through striving, but through identification. You must claim it, wear it, become it. When you do, reality has no choice but to catch up. Life is not random, it is responsive. It bends and shifts to match your inner stance. And the stance of having is very different from the posture of waiting. To act as the one who already has is to move from faith, not from need. It is to speak words that carry the tone of fulfillment. It is to think from the end, not of the end. When you imagine a scene, feel it through the eyes of the one who has already received. Let the inner dialogue reflect that shift. I am, not I hope to be. It is done, not someday may be. Your imagination must stop being a place of longing and become a place of dwelling. When you walk through life in this state, the world mirrors it. People treat you differently. Opportunities flow without effort. Circumstances reshape themselves to match your frequency. Not because the external world is magical, but because your inner world is magnetic. You are always attracting what you are, not what you want. And to become the version of you who has already received is the highest form of alignment. Do not confuse this with arrogance or fantasy. This is not about pretending. It is about embodying. True embodiment is quiet, calm, unshakable. There is no grasping in it, no begging. There is only knowing. The same way you know your name, the same way you know the sun will rise. When you live from that knowing, your steps are sure. Your energy changes. You no longer try to convince the world, you simply allow it to respond. This is why identity is the key. If you still see yourself as the one who lacks, you will continue to experience lack. If you still feel unworthy, unprepared, or separate from your desire, you cannot walk in alignment with it. You cannot reach a destination if you insist on standing in a different place. You must become the person who already has it, internally, long before the evidence appears externally. So ask yourself, how would I speak if it were already mine? How would I hold myself? How would I make decisions? What would I no longer tolerate? What would I celebrate? Begin living in those answers. Let every thought, every step, every breath be colored by the assumption of fulfillment. This is not about forcing change. It's about allowing the truth to rise within you. The truth that what you seek is not far. It is within reach, within you, waiting for your agreement. When you agree with it, you shift timelines. You align with the version of reality where your desire is not a hope, but a memory. There is no greater power than this, to live as though it is already done, to become in consciousness the one who possesses. That is the secret. That is the way. And once you embody that state, you do not chase. What is yours begins to chase you, because life always follows being. And when you become it, you receive it. Everything begins within. The world you see is only a mirror reflecting your inner assumptions, your feelings, your faith in your identity. You are not waiting on the universe is waiting on you, waiting for you to accept, to feel, to embody the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Desire is divine, imagination is sacred, feeling is creative, doubt is delay, and action, when taken from the state of already having, is the very language of manifestation. So live from the end. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let your inner world become so saturated with certainty that the outer world must conform. This is not theory, it is law. What you accept as real within must express itself without. And once you understand this, you stop hoping and start knowing. You stop striving and start receiving. Thank you for walking this journey of truth and transformation. May you remember your power, live from your highest state, and trust that what you desire is not only possible, it is already yours.